There is so much fear in the crypto markets. There's blood on the streets. People are freaking out. It seems like things are getting worse every single day. Another news event comes out. The stocks start falling. Things start tumbling. Other countries are having trouble. There might be turmoil. There could be war. There could be panic. There could be pandemonium. Things could get way worse. But this is the one thing that could save the day for Bitcoin. This red line right here, we're going to dig into. And we're going to get into another anomaly. Because in phase 4 of the bull, which is what we're in right now, we're doing something that we've never done before. And I want to get into it because that could be a major clue of what is about to happen next. And could all of this turn around for you? It's really dependent on that huge clue that I found in the chart right here. Do you see the clue I'm talking about? Because the way we're doing it right now, we've never done it that way before. And that's a big, big, big clue. Let's get into it. Pay attention. This is your last chance. The sale is about to end. Today is the last day.
I was trading primarily with emotions.
I got stuck in trades because I didn't know what I was doing.
Don't you just wish that there was buy and sell alerts that could be sent to your phone? The key is right here in front of you.
And now with Steve's plan, I'm actually up 32,000.
I experienced my first big winning trades over 100%.
This thing is a game changer. Your transformation happens today.
Don't be scared. Take the leap. It is amazing. It'll change your life. It changed mine.
Here we are, Bitcoin US dollar index, and today we're on the monthly chart. On the monthly chart, we've identified the key cycles in Bitcoin's history, starting with 2013 established here, 2017, 2021, and this cycle we're in right here, 2025. Now we're going to break it down with these moves because this is so important for your future. Now, what we've got here is Bitcoin's Fib Retracement. What I want you to do is go to your tools, click on this little arrow, and you're going to click on Fib Retracement. That's these cool boxes that we have here. When you go to Fib Retracement, if you're looking at this move right here, you're simply going to go to the prior swing high. You're going to click once. You're going to drag that bad boy down to the lowest point we went to, and you're going to click again. That's all you're going to do, and it'll pop up with this. If it doesn't pop up with stuff that looks exactly like this, you're going to double click on the line, and you're going to go to style. And when you go to style, you're going to have a lot of these boxes clicked automatically. I want you to unclick all of them except the ones I have, and then you're going to scroll down, and if your chart is on the log scale, you're just going to click this little box right here, Fibs based on log scale, and then it'll be set up exactly like this. And then it will identify the key areas that Bitcoin gets to in every single phase of the cycle. It's a huge, huge, huge advantage for all of the future cycles that Bitcoin ever has in the history of Bitcoin. This is going to help you tremendously. Why? Because Bitcoin does the same things every single cycle. Bitcoin repeats the same patterns in every single cycle. And after it repeats a specific pattern, the exact pattern repeats in the next cycle, and so on and so forth. It's a huge cheat code that you can use for the rest of your life. So in 2013, we had these red boxes. And these red boxes are the market cycle bottom. It's the same here in 2017, market cycle bottom. 2021, red box, market cycle bottom. 2025, red box, market cycle bottom. What you'll notice is that after the market cycle bottom, we have the most bullish thing that happens, which is, generally speaking, on the stochastic RSI, we have a cross, usually on the monthly or the 2-month, and that takes us into the bull run. And that happens precisely at this time. And when we do that, we move into what's called phase 1 of the bull. Phase 1 of the bull is this yellow box. You see this yellow box here, this yellow box here in 2021, and the yellow box here in 2025. All of them in the yellow box are phase 1 of the bull, the beginning of the bull. And what you'll notice about all of these yellow boxes is they're like a Lego. And you have this red box here, and you have this yellow box directly on top of the red box, which means that red box, where you had that market cycle resistance, the yellow box has support directly on top of that resistance, and it builds a new block on top. This is called market structure. Every single market cycle, when it turns into a bull, the bull acts the exact same way. Phase 1 always builds market structure on our bottom, always and forever. And next cycle, everybody will be confused again. They'll be like, oh my God, what the hell's happening? Bitcoin is so confusing. Nobody knows what's going on. It does the same move every single time when it enters the bull run. Phase one, builds that block right on top of the red. 2017 was no different. Yellow box on top of the red. 2021, yellow box on top of the red. 2025, yellow box on top of the red. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, pretty clean. And now for the first time, you're looking at it and you're like, hey, maybe this is more simple than I thought. Well, it continues because the white box is phase two. And the white box is built directly on top of the yellow box. Just like the yellow box was built on top of the red box. We just have 3 Legos so far. You know, we're basically like 2 years old. We got our Legos and we can connect them. That's how simple it is so far. The white box directly on top of the yellow box and the yellow box directly on top of the red box. That's it. 2017 was no different. You can see white box on top of the yellow box on top of the red box. 2021, the same. You can see this white box here. 2025, the same. You see the white box here, directly on top of the yellow box. Then we get into this red line here. The red line is called number 1, right? When you go to the settings here, red 1. What does that mean? 1 is simply the prior all-time high from the last cycle all-time high. This all-time high here is represented in 1. Usually there's some resistance there, and that's the last line of resistance, meaning for the whole bull run, we're just trying to build our Legos up to the prior all-time high. And we're building our Legos, which is building our market structure, right? It's really hard just to go from a low price and blaze through all the way up to our prior all-time high. It's never happened. Why? Above our head, there's so many levels of resistance. These are the boxes. So what you get when you finally get to that prior all-time high is that's the last level of resistance, which is why when we break this, typically you see an outburst in price. You see it explode bigger than it's ever exploded before. This is phase 4. Every single phase 4 for the history of Bitcoin has been explosive, except this one. We've got some problems that we're going to talk about. Phase 4 in 2013, we went from $30 up to $260. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely absurd. 2017, once we finally got by that prior all-time high, we built all of our Legos right up to the all-time high. It was like an explosion. We went from about 1,200 up to almost 5,000 in the blink of an eye. 2021 was no different. We did have phase 4. We did break this red line, and we went from 19,000 up to 70 in phase 4. Again, once we broke that market structure, that final market structure level. So that's how this game is working. Once you break those levels, then you have freedom to explore higher levels without all the resistance above our heads. And at that point, we're pretty much done with our building blocks and we're off to new all-time highs. Pay attention. This is your last chance. The sale is about to end. Today is the last day. Get money-making buy and sell alerts directly to your phone. It works for Bitcoin and all altcoins. Sign up now and make 5 times more in this cycle with my indicator bundle. Best of all, this is the largest ever discount we have ever had on the indicator bundle. The problem? It's only for a limited time. Save an extra $250 off when you sign up with crypto. This is your chance to start dominating. CryptoCrewUniversity.com. Don't miss out. Clock is ticking. Now enter 2025 into the chat. What we did is we had our red box, we had our yellow box. Our yellow box was on top of the red box. Our white box was on top of the yellow box. And then we got to this red line and we did something that was very odd. And the first clue that I want to uncover. What you'll notice about the prior cycles is we had 1 month at the red line in 2013. We had 1 month at the red line in 2021. In 2017, we did have a few months at the red line prior to breaking. But in 2025, we had how many candles? We had 8 months at this box here, right? That's an anomaly. 8 months of resistance, something that we had never done before, something that was a huge clue to the market that something's going on, that something's a little bit different, that something is a little bit fishy. Something doesn't smell right. Something doesn't look right. So we had all of these months here as resistance at 70K. But it wasn't just that. That red line represents the prior all-time high. The prior all-time high, we actually had a double top at 70K, meaning we spent significant time at 70K and we spent it all as resistance. Therefore, we had all of 2021 as resistance at this red line. And then we were 8 months of 2024 also as resistance at this red line. In other words, we were getting resistance at the same structure zone for an eternity, it felt like. We've never spent that much time at one level and have it also be that same level of the prior cycle where we also had an enormous amount of time at that level. There's been no level in Bitcoin's history that happened in one cycle for an astronomical amount of time and also was in the prior cycle at the same number at an astronomical amount of time as well. We've never had that. This was the first. This is what's called an anomaly, and this is what smells a little bit fishy. Now, when we dig into it, we can say, okay, that's the negative part of it. Something's fishy. It was longer than normal. We never had done it before. On the flip side, we could say, hey, this was our market cycle resistance in 2021, and it was our resistance for 8 months. That means that 70,000 is the strongest level in Bitcoin's history. Both are true because when you have that much resistance, this should be our support. And if it's not, then it's not up for debate that the top is in, which is why I showed you this chart a few months ago. And I said, look, we broke into phase 4. Phase 4 is typically the bullish part of every single cycle. How do we say that? Based on all of the history. Phase 4, most bullish. Phase 4 in 2017, most bullish. 2021, most bullish. Not up for debate that every single phase 4 was the most bullish. However, I made it very, very clear. If Bitcoin holds 70,000, we could very well rally to this blue line here. It's in the cards. But if we break 70K, it's just conclusive evidence that the top is already in. That's what I gave you a few months ago. Now let's revisit this. So here we are in today's world where we can see, we'll zoom in to this market cycle now. We had all of this resistance at 70K. We finally broke it in November 2024. And in November 2024 was the most bullish candle that we had seen in this entire market cycle. We came out of the gates hot. Why? Because we were done with our resistance. There was literally above our head no more resistance. This red line is quite literally the last level of resistance, and then we have freedom. That's why this was the largest candle. But after that, we followed it up with this shooting star candle. Shooting stars are typically found at market cycle tops. We covered it right here on our channel, and nobody really wanted to take it seriously because it just goes against what they wanted to hear. But it was a shooting star candle. And the next monthly candle, we said that this monthly candle could avoid the shooting star if it were to close its body of its candle above the high of the shooting star, which it failed to do. We said anything less than this body of a candle going higher and closing higher, anything outside of that is just a further confirmation that this was a shooting star. And it did. It confirmed the shooting star. And then we followed it up with this monthly candle. And now we're on this monthly candle. No matter where Bitcoin is right now is completely irrelevant because this is a monthly chart and it's more important where we close the month. And now I want you to pay attention to one level and one level only. At the end of this month, Bitcoin has to close the body of its candle, not the wick. We can dip our toe below 70. That's fine. The body of the candle at the end of the month has to be above 70K. If it is not, any other scenario outside of it being above 70K is a bloodbath. It will be the most bloodbath, gruesome candle that Bitcoin has ever printed because we will break this market structure and it will be horrific. However, Bitcoin has a chance. This 70K is quite literally the strongest zone that we have in all of crypto's history. It represented all of the resistance here, and what typically happens, what should happen in a healthy market is when you break resistance, it turns into our support. And we're about to see at the end of the month what Bitcoin has left in the tank. Because around that time, we should be getting pretty close to having our weekly stochastic RSI cross. At that time, it's likely that we may have already had our stochastic RSI crosses or in the beginning stages. And if Bitcoin is able to hold 70K as support with this body and have a weekly stochastic RSI cross, it could take us to that next level, which is this blue line. This still is in play, although it's less likely at the moment given the mountain Bitcoin has to climb. But if Bitcoin was able to do the things that I illustrated, this is still in play, this blue line, 176K. It's still in play, but here's the one caveat. I said earlier in the episode that Bitcoin is doing something really unorthodox in this market cycle and really different than a lot of the cycles we've seen so far. When you look at it, every single time we've gotten into phase 4, we have never come back down to retest our market structure at the red line. Case in point, 2013, we exploded into phase 4. We never came even close to coming down as support and seeing a further bounce up. 2017, more of the same. We blazed into this phase 4. We never had any sort of pullback down to our market structure. 2021 was no different. We blazed into phase 4. We never had any sort of correction down to our red line. And what are we doing today? Well, in today's market, that's our only hope, is that somehow we have to hold support at this red line. Something we've never done before in a bull run. Come down to this line and somehow see a bounce higher. But that is exactly the only thing that Bitcoin has to save its life in this bull run. What do you think is going to happen next, especially at the end of the month? From Mark, Steve's education made all the difference. We profited $50,000. From Dr. George, in just 1 week, I made $70,000 profit using Steve's indicators. Carl, I made 300% trade with his system. CryptoCrewUniversity.com. Don't miss out. Clock is ticking.